Welcome to the Spirituality Now podcast. I am your host, Yvonne de la Flor, and today I have a guest that literally, I was just talking to her. I really feel she defies gravity. That she, there is an old Zen quote that says, when you climb up, when you arrive to the top of the mountain, keep climbing, even when there's no more mountains above. But I really believe that she can because she is unbelievable. Some of my friends that saw, I share her Facebook with them. I said, we're interviewing her. They say, oh, she's literally one of those ancient gods or goddesses that used to fly all over and educate and indoctrinate mortals on the possibilities of the power of the human spirit. So I am super excited and I'm going to share with you a little bit of her bio. There's much more because when you have as a guest or as a friend or as an ally or as just someone that you admire around you, close to your presence, who continuously defies the laws of man, the laws of limitations. They are always going higher and higher and higher. You know, it's a moment, it's a great opportunity. I really feel that this podcast, anyone out there listening right now, especially my ladies, gentlemen, you too, you can learn so much from this wise woman that we have here today. You will begin to not only jump higher, fly higher, and just take risks far much more, not only calculated, but much more powerful that is aligned with the soul. So enough of my ranty words. Let me share with you about our beloved guest. Our beloved guest is how I'm going to start. I'm going to tell you she's flying all over the world, literally, and not with a plane. She's setting women's records. She has 19 so far. She's winning international competitions. She's married to her hero and best friend and having a heavenly connection with Egypt, literally heavenly. Take my words literally. It's pyramids and it's vibes like very few people have. Jeannie Bartholomew is our beloved guest and the owner of the Alter Ego Project LLC, Team Alter Ego Fastrax, and the Florida Canopy Piloting Association. Pardon my Spanglish. Professional competitor on Team Alter Ego Fastrax, skydiving videographer. Okay, it's hard enough to skydive. I only have skydived once, and I keep repeating that video over and over again. My children are bored. Imagine now being a videographer of this. AFF instructor, Canopy coach, prorated Canopy pilot, ASG athlete, Swoop Freestyle, and USPA national director. Her future goals are to continue to compete in the local and world level competition scene. Ladies, make a note. World level to provide exciting professional demo jumps into events, produce more alter ego fast track team projects, continue to push the limits in freestyle canopy piloting with Sub Freestyle. I don't know what's up with my English today. Anyways, not only to be among the top female competitors and icons of the sport, but be among the best of the best. Okay, that is a goal. The goals that I have in my computer, in my notes, you know, when I read the goals of Jeannie, is like I gotta review my goals. I love this that Jeannie says. She says pressure is a privilege, and it really shows us what we're really made of. It shows us how much we can push ourselves and how much we can take before we break. Jeannie says she's not unbreakable, but through the years, she has become mentally and physically stronger from injuries, setbacks, change, and people telling her that she cannot do things. Can you relate? She takes pride in being a true professional and rising to the challenge. She has a lot of work to do to achieve her ultimate goals in this sport, but she's proud of where she's at and the person competitor that she has become and continues to become. She says that she will continue to stay true to herself and keep charging until she reaches her goals. Jeannie, wow, my goals feel a little bit ashamed right now. Welcome, love.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
Wow, you're so humble too. I've noticed something that the people that are busy winning, they don't have time to be venting around of anything else. You are to the point. You literally jump from airplanes, from pyramids, from spaces. So let's start introducing people to, we are a podcast that is mainly listening to the English speaking community in all Latin America. So I know they're going to be excited to know who is Jeannie Bartholomew. And I hope I'm pronouncing well your last name and your name.
The pronunciation is perfect. It's great.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your beginnings. What was the life of Jeannie when she was a girl? Before we go into the professional, before we go into your powers of flying and jumping, into the sky, into very very to reach high limits of your own human consciousness. Who was Jeannie when she was a girl? What were her dreams, her aspirations? What was going on with that little girl that has become such a really an icon and a role model not only for women but for humans on to reach their goals and reach their dreams and make it into reality?
So honestly, when I was a little girl, my sister, who was 13 years older than me, went out and did a tandem skydive. And I watched her video probably 1,000 times and just really fell in love with the idea of flying and human flight. So as a 5-year-old, 7-year-old child, I started jumping off of everything. And as I got older, I started making my own parachutes out of blankets, umbrellas, sheets, pillowcases, anything I could use to kind of slow my descent down. And I jumped off of everything I could find and tried to slow myself down to the ground as much as possible. So I think for me, my dream was always to be able to fly. And I had dreams at night of flying. Every night I would fly all over the place. And my parents had me in sports as a child, every sport you could imagine. And my mom and dad both raced motorcycles and cars growing up. And in fact, my mom won some things in motorcycle racing as a female, and there weren't very many female racers at that time. So I really looked up to her and what she was doing in her sport. And I did figure skating, cheerleading. I did baseball. I was on an all-male baseball team. I was the only female on the team. And just so many different sports, and was always aspiring to be better at whatever I was doing. Because obviously I wasn't able to skydive until I turned 18. So that wasn't even an option. So I just kept pushing myself in different avenues of my life. And then when I got a little bit older, went out to the drop zone, made my first tandem skydive, went back the next week and made a second tandem skydive, and signed up to jump on my own the following week. And it's kind of been a roller coaster ride ever since.
Wow, Jeannie, you understand. For you, is your normal day life. For me, it's like, oh my gosh. If I was the mother of this 5-year-old that is making her own parachutes, of this 7-year-old who is focusing on slowing her descent, I mean, just those words at that age, that dreams of flying, that has already a winning role model, right? Because your mother became like that role model of like, I'm a female in the midst of a male driven market, right? Male driven sport, and she's winning and she's pushing herself. She has that motorcycle thing. So for me, just to hear you that this is something that you really, you and I both know Tim Grover and how he says that your dreams need a chance to exist. And you really, I don't even know if that was really a dream or it was a reality and the rest of your life was a dream, right? Because you really made it happen since very young. You've been working since that age to really be at the place that you are at right now. And I love that you say it's been a roller coaster ride. So you did that. You go to 18 years old. You jump once. I stayed in once, Jeannie. I'm like, I did a tandem. That was enough. Scratch it. And I said in the intro, my kids are like, Mom, please, could you share us something new? You keep showing us your accomplishment from the past as is new. I'm like, I was in the air. I was flying. But I love this. So you begin this journey of your, I don't know if it's even a life passion. You have created so much for so many people through this your dream, right? So what happens next? So you begin to go into this roller coaster ride. Tell people about it, because they think, they see a winner like you, an athlete like you, someone that is always pushing herself into greatness, even higher and higher and higher, and they think it's easy. So tell us about the roller coaster of those beginnings.
So when I started skydiving, I was a professional cheerleader, all-star cheerleading. So the gymnastics cheerleading where you get thrown up in the air 30 feet and do, flips and tricks and stuff. And I was a competitor for that. So when I started, I was not very good at landing a parachute. Even though I had years of trying to slow my descent, I wasn't very good at landing the parachute. And one of my instructors told me, Jeannie, we think you should go back to cheerleading. You're better at cheerleading, and we don't think you're ever going to be able to land a parachute the right way. So for me, I took that as challenge accepted. I'm going to land a parachute, and I'm going to land a parachute much better than you can land a parachute. So that started my journey of seeking out coaching and instruction and finding the mentors in the sport that would really help me to get to my goals. So, coming from being told I wouldn't be able to do something and then working really, really hard and struggling and having those ups and downs and then finally achieving my goals has been a really amazing journey for me. And I really appreciate what I have and what I've done in the sport a lot more because of where I came from. I had one landing where I came in and I drug my knuckles across this road and stood up, had a bruised tailbone. I was bleeding. And I just thought to myself, how can I keep going like this? I need to get some help. I need to figure this out. And it really just inspired me to keep pushing, because not everything is just an easy road. You've got to just find your way and keep pushing and keep charging until you get to where you want to be. And I wasn't about to give up. And today, obviously,
Wow.
I'm at where I'm at.
Yeah, and you keep rising. That's why people like you and like Michael Jordan. It's like they are those people that reach the top of the mountain, and you keep climbing. You keep climbing. You if there's no mountain, you will probably bring it, so you can climb from to the top and then jump from it, right? You and your beloved husband. I love that you are sharing this. And let's talk about a little bit about those. A lot of people call them haters. I just call them naysayers. But it's interesting that you were a full-time cheerleader, and these people come and tell you you can't, you are not good at landing. I mean, yeah, yeah, I feel very fancy right now just saying the words landing a parachute. I don't know. I cannot even land well when I do CrossFit, from a burpee. It's like, I'm like, wow, this is just next level. But you were a cheerleader, and you have these people, these naysayers, these like I call them cheerleaders in reverse, that they're telling you, go back to cheerleading. They don't know that they are actually cheerleading for you back then. They don't know that they're telling you go back to cheerleading, and they are actually positioning themselves as the cheerleaders of your future. I love when I hear these stories, because all the people that are our antagonists, all the people that compete with us, they always help us win. So it just gives me shivers to see. But now the difference is what you chose to do. A lot of people, they hear the naysayers and they stay there. They say, okay, I will obey. Let me go back to cheerlead. But you said, no, I'm not going to do that. And I love this. And let's talk about this a little bit, Ginny. I'm going to continue to push myself until I get my goals. So what's the feeling for you on that? There must be some kind of a mental process, spiritual process for you when I got to push myself to the next level.
Absolutely. There's definitely a mental and spiritual level to that for sure. And it just goes back to everything in my life, I guess. Every time I've had a goal, I will work really hard until I achieve it. And I've never really given up on anything and, there's been a time where I've decided that I'm going to take a different path, but never because I felt like I've been beaten down or I just can't keep going. It's always been a decision where I felt like I've accomplished what I've needed to accomplish and then, given up and moved a different direction. So I think for me, I always